Well, welcome back to the Forensics Detailing channel. Do not forget to subscribe. Dan, over to you. What's going on today?
Today, John, we are going to drop. We're going to drop, for the first time, me and you, drop a 911 engine.
Dig, 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 dig,
Dig,
dig,
dig,
dig, dig, dig, dig, dig, dig.
And why are we dropping it, John?
So this engine's knackaroonied, isn't it?
Well, it's not knackaroonied, but there's something wrong with it.
So it's knackaroonied then.
Yes. but the whole point of this is a spare car. It's my donor car. And I want the engine to learn from it. Me and John have never dropped an engine. We want to drop the engine to find out how you drop a Porsche engine and how long it takes.
He's a rookie.
Yeah.
I've done millions.
So we want to learn how to take these in and out, but also what we want to learn is once you get it out, is to diagnose what happened and what went wrong with it and break it apart and potentially rebuild it ourselves from home.
Yeah.
That's the real key learning point.
Drop of the engine, get the engine on the trolley, split the engine down, put all the parts on these shelves, middle block sections there, left bank, right bank.
Yeah, that's it.
The oil's already been taken out.
Yeah.
We'll show you the process of getting the engine out. Now, the thing is, we've never done this before, but Dan sold a shell to someone else who's coming round, who dropped the engine out of the car, Dan's breaker car that he sold him,
himself,
split the engine down, fixed it, and put it back in. You think, what a hero.
And he sort of rebuilt it as well, all himself.
And it worked.
Yeah, and it worked.
You know, I don't think you're going to get this car going in a hurry. It's like high tower, you get in there, there's nowhere to sit, so you have to sit back here and you're driving it and put the old stilts on your feet. But like, yeah. So this one ain't going anywhere. But it's a good shell. So yeah, stage one, all the oil was drained out last night, so every bit of oil is out. And I think what we'll do is it will be wheels off, get it all jacked up, get loads of axles under it, and start disconnecting the drive shafts first of all. Is that right, Dan?
Yeah, so back end of the car inside the garage, get the whole car up and get the rear end up, so you've got at least, I've been told, 80 centimetres of clearance from the bar to the floor, so that this trolley jack compresses down, slides under the engine, under the car, and then you hold the weight of the engine as you undo all the mounts, and then literally you lower the jack down, and hey presto, you pull the whole engine out from underneath the car.
So Dan obviously needs a trolley jack, but if I was doing this on my own, I would just pull it down with my own raw strength.
Yeah, you just manhandle
I'll just hold
it
it
down
with one hand under there and just grab it down with the Superman arm. Look.
Yeah, we've got to do these Porsches. They're quite complicated, but they're quite a big engine. This engine and gearbox weighs 250 kilos. Yeah. This jack, I bought the 500 kilo one.
I bench press 275. It's no problem for me.
Also, we must filter that oil because I want to see if there's any metal particles in there, because that is not gold, as in the sense I can't see that golden pirate swirl we saw in your oil filter housing.
Thanks for reminding me, Dan.
when your big end bearing went. So let's we place bets on what we think's wrong with this. My gut feeling is AOS failure.
Well,
because it runs and starts and drives, and there's no intermix in the oil, and there was no intermix in the coolant directly.
It runs, starts and drives, but you're losing coolant,
but it's lost a lot of coolant. Yeah, like most of its coolant.
So that can't just be AOS, can it?
Could be head problem, but the other one I had a very similar situation. Run, start, drove, no intermix in the oil. Header tank looked clear, but it had no coolant in it.
But an AOS failure wouldn't lose coolant,
I think it can vaporize.
You'd lose oil.
Yeah.
You'd be burning oil.
But why does the coolant go? But the coolant can mix in with the AOS, I think. I'm sure Stuart said he had intermix in the AOS.
Oh, okay.
So we'll find out, obviously. That's
so do we actually need to drop this then?
Yeah.
It might not be knackered.
Well, you've got to get to the AOS. And I want the engine anyway, so
Yes, the engine. Okay, guys, we'll bring you in when we're on to step one, when we start unbolting stuff. Doug.
Get a video on my phone.
So, Dan, to undo the drive shaft, what do you need?
T50 torque. I've got it on a long extended ratchet on a half drive there, so I can hold against that bar to hold that straight.
Shouldn't you be using the breaker bar?
Well, you're going to get a breaker bar in there, John. And then
I'm just preempting
the comments. Have to put the handbrake on in this position, so then you can undo it without that rotating. And then I get the handbrake off, move it around to the next 2 bolts, and there's 6 bolts each side, 6 torque bolts.
And once that's on, the drive shafts come straight out, does it?
Yeah, they just come away out the gearbox. If you look at the other side, it's already away.
Oh. He's not as dumb as he looks. Right, so... Oh, yeah. So once those torques are off, the drive
shaft just pulls off, which is great.
Where's my handbrake, man? Inches, so we can get extra lift at the back if we need it.
Yeah, because the issue is if you drop, you trip.
There's your Airbnb host.
Hello.
This man here, just talking to
I'm
us.
going to take that away.
Tell us why you're here.
To help with this one after rebuilding that one.
So that shell there used to belong to him.
Hey!
You bought it as a breaker to repair.
No, I bought it as a breaker.
You
Yeah,
bought it
no,
as a breaker, sold it to Stuart to
Yeah.
repair,
So
and
this-
you repaired it yourself, dropped
Yes.
the engine like we're doing today,
Yep.
fixed it all,
Yep.
put it back in, and it was so easy, no problem.
This was the one I bought, John. I jumped on Marketplace that everybody was tagging me on because the guy said the head gasket had gone on it.
Yeah, yeah.
And he just wanted to like just sell it basically.
Because if you remember, I wanted to buy it.
Yes, and I got in
messaged
there
the guy
before
on
you.
Facebook, and he didn't message me back. And then
'Cause I
I
did-
got put in contact with Danny, and then we were talking. I was like, "Oh, I can't afford a new one. Have you got any projects?" He goes, "Full enough, I've got a project car." And I was like, and he sent me a picture. I was like, "No way."
That was
That's
the one,
car I
yeah,
wanted.
yeah.
Show us the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So it's
So what? When
Bit
you took the
dirty.
engine out, what was the problem with it?
so a mixture of things, I think.
Age-related things.
Yeah, all age related. So the AOS was gone. The oil
Oil
cooler
cooler.
was gone. Head gasket was failing, so you just falling to pieces. Just like a mixture of everything.
How do you diagnose AOS is gone?
Well, you could see the bellows had failed, and when I actually opened it, you could see inside there was a mixture of stuff. Like,
Coolant and oil mixing there, weren't there? It was
but
intermixed in
it
there.
wasn't a lot. It wasn't a lot.
Yeah, but it was a bit at the
Yeah,
bottom,
it-
wasn't there? A bit of
yeah.
cream at the
When
bottom.
I opened the water pump as well, there's like all that sludgy crap in there.
Because there's a chance we might just have a broken AOS in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, fingers crossed.
because at the moment the coolant that's come out is perfect.
Right.
The excess coolant
Have
that's
you
run
taken
out.
water pump off it?
No,
we'll
but the
find out
coolant's come out and the oil's clean and there's no metal in the oil or anything.
Yeah. See, the oil on this one was clean. There was barely any coolant in the oil when I dropped that.
And again, like this one, this car, John, started and ran. It didn't idle very well, but it was a runner.
See,
And it didn't smoke
I
either,
never
did it?
started it. I never
No,
started it
no,
at all.
but I did, didn't I? Because obviously when the transport guy, your guy came, we didn't start it. But when I had it dropped, I drove it down the road. So my guy unloaded it down there and I drove it down here and drove it into there.
Yeah.
Then we pushed it out onto your
That's
guy.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've split that engine's been dropped, split, rebuilt.
Yeah, we'll show you the
Everything,
pictures.
yeah, from crank up. Yeah, everything. And like I said, the only thing I haven't done is the pistons. Everything out, bearings, new bolts, new seals, literally everything.
New
that needs doing.
chains, new guides.
Yeah, I'm into it for. Shall I say how much I'm into it for now?
Yeah.
Can do.
About $9,000. But that
Yeah.
includes. I had a nightmare. I dropped it,
Yeah.
put it back in, started straight away, lumpy, and then it started coming round. So I cleared all the faults, took it for a drive. It sounded awful. I thought, oh god, the flywheel's gone, because the flywheel looked okay, it looked in spec. So I thought, okay, the flywheel's gone. So I dropped it again, put a new clutch, new flywheel on, put it back in, took it for a drive. Sounded awful again, so I thought, brilliant, gearbox is gone.
Yeah,
So
gearbox
we're
is gone.
talking,
Yeah.
and in that time, the fuel rail cracked,
Oh, God.
and it cracked at cylinder 6. And the only fuel rail I could find was in America.
So you just get the misfire, were you? Or
No, it wasn't even that. It was running really rough.
Oh, okay.
Fuel was dripping down onto the exhaust.
That would have been a bit worrying.
Yeah, and when I got it MOT'd, bizarrely, it sat there idling for ages. And obviously the fuel, I didn't know the fuel was leaking. Even the MOT guy didn't pick up on it because of where it was leaking. And did I tell you, I got it home and it started running rough. Remember I said about
Yes,
spark
yeah,
plug?
yeah, you got back and it started running
And I was
rough.
like, what the hell is it? One of the spark plugs cracked. So I got it replaced, but it's been fine ever since. And I put about
But you know
£450.
what? You know what? When you drop an engine, you rebuild it, put it all back together, the chances are there's going to be something not quite
Teething
right.
Oh, yeah,
things,
yeah,
yeah, teething
There's
things.
so many bits and things you have to do
But
up.
also adding that in that $9,000 you're into it, that includes the clutch,
Everything.
the gearbox,
Oh,
everything.
that includes new tyres.
That's the tyres,
all new brakes,
that's getting it MOT
the
worthy.
gearbox.
So actually
everything.
engine build, what, $6,000-ish?
Not even that.
Not even that.
No. For the engine, including all new bolts and everything, about £4,000.
And but that's home DIY engine build, and that's what we're going to prove with this engine, John. If you've got a bit of mechanical wisdom about you, Yes.
That's where I'm in trouble, yeah.
Yes. I don't know about us two.
Yeah.
Then you can take one of these engines apart and potentially build it yourself at home. You can we'll show you where you can get the parts from and stuff. And
It's fun as well.
you learn from it.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
don't get me wrong. There's times when you're like, what have I done?
Yeah.
What have I done?
But it's all going to come back together at the end once you got it there.
It's driving lovely now.
And that's the thing as well, is I now know literally every inch of this car.
Yeah,
So like, if anything goes wrong, I know immediately how to fix it.
because you know you've already been there.
Funny enough, on the way down here, pulled up to drop my son off at work, I could hear hissing.
Yeah.
I thought, oh no, what's that? And this coolant hose had popped off at the back.
Yeah, because you know your way around it.
Okay,
Yeah.
guys, so we'll go to the next step
Yeah.
now.
Bolt up there.
Yeah.
Right, those are a bit of a nightmare.
So that middle section has to come
Yeah,
out.
so you have to
doesn't
undo
it?
this bolt, take this
Yeah,
brace
take
off.
those off, and they
You
break, don't
you
they?
don't have to take this off.
No, just
You just
unbolt
loosen
it.
that bolt and move it out of the
Fucking
way.
I put the wood right
Same
there.
way on,
then.
but I took them off.
I put the wood right there.
So after drive shaft, it's both of these stable bars, yeah?
Yeah, both of these. And then this middle brace has to come off. We only have to remove these bolts here.
Yeah,
The top bolts stay in, you just
Right.
undo them and it drops out.
Yeah.
This will drop out. And then what we can start doing is we want to undo these coolant pipes here.
yeah,
Just these, I undid here and here.
yeah,
And then we can lower the engine a bit.
yeah.
Check if there's any lines coming up to the transmission, which I don't think there is.
No.
Double check.
Must be that going to the transmission. That's the only
Got
thing
an
I can see.
oil
There.
leak
It
on
comes
this
from a
stand.
reservoir. Yes, it has had an oil leak. Again, could be part of the problem. We'll find out. Could be the back of the AOS, couldn't it, coming around there?
You'd be able to see that. You can see the top of the
Could even be
AOS,
the
can't you?
gearbox leak
From
as
your
well.
side, actually.
That's been splashing, hasn't it? Right, okay, so first thing then, so where my blocks are, they're in the way. So
Yeah.
what we're going to have to do is jack that engine back up to take the strain off of these to move the blocks out the way a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
and then we can undo them bolts.
Yep.
Undo them bolts, then undo these
Right.
bolts.
So those,
So jack back
then
in.
this, then coolant pipes.
Jack back in to brace the engine. So
Yes,
take
you've
that
got to
out of the
do
way
these. So these
because
are
that's
bolts.
soaked.
Where's those transmission bolts in? Is
There's
that?
two here.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's two further back. And then there's a bolt up here. And there's a bolt up here. Those are the 6 bolts that holds all this up.
So 6 bolts to hold the transmission mounting.
Yep.
And then...
Or the other way you can do it, which is harder to get back in, is to do these 2 bolts here. Which is where
Okay.
the bushing is. It comes out easy, but it won't go back in easy.
Oh, okay.
It's just
Well,
easy
we
to
don't need the engine or gearbox to go back in this car, but obviously it's good to know which is the easiest way if you're doing it into a car that
So
does need to go back in.
Yeah, I mean, I've done it
That-
both ways, and then
that,
I just did the bushing mount. It was a
6
nightmare.
transmission mounts.
Because
and
at
then
some point I am going to be
2
putting an
engine
engine
mounts.
in a car. This is great to learn how to get it out, but I will be putting it in.
Here.
Right, let's let that take
So those
strain.
engine mounts, you take all these bolts out. What do they just
No,
lift?
you don't do anything with this.
Oh,
all you
just
do is
jack that
Do it from underneath.
and do the bolt underneath. It's that 18mm bolt, I think. By memory.
Oh, okay.
That's at the limit now, isn't it?
Down there somewhere.
I've got to find the bolt. Can't see it.
I will.
Just
We'll
see if
see
them
that.
jacks have come off their limits.
I can feel the bolt.
Have they come off?
So there we go.
These are coming right out, aren't they, Stuart? The back front ones?
Yeah, take them all out.
Yeah, just take the whole bar off. It's easier, isn't it?
So that's the support brace bar bit
Yeah.
you're doing, yeah? You're going to just twist it round.
There's a bolt in the middle you've got to undo. It's a nut. They have a little thread sticking up through them, and there's a nut. You can tell he's a YouTuber, can't you? He's also known as mentally disturbed.
Because there's bolts at the top of this brace thing. What is this?
Yeah, so this
thing?
is the lower part of the cross brace that ties these two
Yes.
together.
Yeah.
So what Stuart was saying is if you take this off
Yes.
and you leave it off, the weight of the car will split it apart.
Yeah.
So by
Put it
putting the
back in.
bolts back, keeps it all together to stop that side and that side, the distance growing.
So you've already removed this brace here, yeah?
Yeah, so that brace is gone, yeah.
Yeah. So on mine, that's
So we don't
sheared.
need. Oh, really? So I've had that shear on DTC.
Yeah, so I had to drill it out. And do
Yeah.
it.
CGA's one snapped up there
Oh shit.
in the body.
So where's this
Right,
bolt?
so these bolts are right up there hidden. So we need to get a screwdriver and
see
dig
on the
that
camera?
out.
Oh, see, that's different because this is a Tiptronic.
Yeah.
On a manual, you've got more space here to get that
Yes,
bolt up
that
there.
makes sense. So are they nut on the other side? or are they just bolted?
No, it is a nut. It's a nut and a bolt. So the nut's this side. That's the bolt head.
Yeah. So the nut
And that's
is
the nuts that side.
there. My
Yeah,
finger
yeah.
on it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. So this
Oh, I
side,
see.
your side's easier than this side. Yeah.
Yes. A nut.
Yes,
So I've got to come over the drive shaft to get to this one. I think.
You dirty man.
Oh. Right, first thing I need a screwdriver to get all the crap off.
Yeah.
Because that is bad.
Yeah, and that looks like...
Right, Johnny boy, get me a flat blade screwdriver, big one.
Yes, sir. Okay, so now those bolts are done, you can drop this
can
brace.
come out and it just comes out square. It's
Oh, that's
just-
why you loosen those top
Yeah,
bolts
loosen
off.
the
I
top
get it.
ones,
I get
look.
it now. I
So the
get
top
it.
one's sitting there and the bottom ones have to come out fully and then the whole thing comes out. Now obviously the engine is free to come down and out.
And anti-roll bar's been taken out.
Yeah, because obviously that would be in the way.
So next transmission bolts.
Next to get some support under it so the engine is all on the trolley and then start disconnecting and removing and undoing anything to do with the transmission and then it's all on the engine.
Okay.
Can I take it off or?
Yeah, you can do, yeah. But it's just this is going to actually hit this pipe. And that's that's a solid pipe.
Oh, you don't want it to damage
No.
it?
So you've got a couple of blocks of wood, like a 2x4 or something?
So Dan's just trying to get these coolant pipes which go into the transmission.
One goes to the transmission, the other's just joined into the car's coolant system. They're not, you have to take it off the gearbox, but we may as well get it off so it's not in our way.
Yeah.
But they're rusted on a bit because they're obviously 25, 27 years old.
Yeah. We're nearly. Have you done the? We've got the transmission bolts that got to be done still, haven't they?
Yeah, so we're just getting the pipe work out the way, ready for that table to support the engine and gearbox. While we
While you do
while we
those
do it and
transmission
get a
bolts,
mouthful
yeah.
of coolant as well.
Lovely.
I'm just wondering, do we just drop these 2 bolts here?
Yes, and let the front of the box come down.
Yeah.
Oh, these ones here.
Yeah, you have to do all of them, really.
Yeah.
Um,
You do have to take that off to get the gearbox out, I think.
you don't
Remember.
have to. You can undo these 2. Sit down a bit.
Yeah.
I've got to find... It's actually like a C shape.
You filming this, John?
Mm.
So you push down. Oh, right, and then the whole plastic clip comes out.
Just try that.
Oh, I see, yes.
Like that?
Yeah, yeah.
It's easy. It's only to break it, then it's off with a finger.
A little bit of prizing. That's the fuel pipe,
Yeah.
and the return's the one behind it.
Correct. So we've got to drain the power steering fluid.
Yeah, so we're going to suck that out with a
Yeah, we need to
syringe.
suck that because when we disconnect the lines, it will pour out.
Right.
We also need to disconnect the air
Conditioning pipes, yeah.
and that's already dead anyway because the gas is
Yeah,
gone.
and it's a return and an in and an out.
Yeah. So there's 2 ways to do that. We can either do it with these pipes here,
Yeah,
which can be a bit fiddly, but with the 2 of us, we can hold one with a set of pliers.
Yeah.
And undo the other bolts.
and then it comes apart,
Yep.
doesn't it?
Because if we do it from here, which is what I had to do, it's a nightmare.
Right.
We have to undo the battery post.
Yeah, yeah.
We have to
which is
undo
your
the
main
looms.
power line. Yeah.
And
They
then
just twist the looms, didn't they?
yeah,
to
just
undo?
twist them,
Yeah.
come out, and then we have to disconnect the O2 sensors for the exhaust. One there, unless you've already done them. And you haven't.
No, okay.
And that should be it. And then it's just a case of making sure. Oh, and this coolant pipe, this big coolant pipe here.
Yeah, which is the other side
Yes.
to that one, yeah.
Yeah, and then that's it.
Cool.
The moment of truth.
Ready?
Go on, Dan. Drop her down.
Oh, I need to push that in.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Happy?
Yeah, keep going. Yep, all right.
Happy?
Yeah. That's it.
So we
Jesus.
just need to get the car up a little bit higher. That's the cable. So if you film in here, John, look, everything's away. She's fully free. We just need to get the body up
Jesus.
another inch or two.
It's bigger than you think, isn't it, this engine?
Yeah,
it's a big old
yeah,
block.
it is a big. I think when it comes out, you'll realise.
Guys, engine's out.
She's out.
Marks out of 10. How difficult was that job?
It's a good 7, 8. But it's like you end up spending so much time checking that you've checked that you've done that, and it's quite handy having more than one person because you can double check. Oh, did you do that? Let me check that. I've checked it. You've checked it. But we think the actual engine out has been about 3 hours, but the whole process is more like 7, 8 hours because it's getting the car in the position, getting it up high enough. We just had to raise the car even higher again to get the engine out because we didn't quite have enough clearance. Even with 80 centimetres, I think that's more like a 90 metre now. I think, yeah.
Problem is this.
What's that?
Yeah. That's the oil cooler for the Tiptronic box.
All right, okay. So you got a
But-
leak there.
I think if it was just me and you and we didn't have Stuart with us, we wouldn't.
Look at that oil leak there on that bank.
John?
That's the power steering.
I
Oh, is
think,
it?
John, I think if it was just me and you, and we didn't have Stuart with us, we wouldn't have known the process. So I think it would have probably been more like 10, 15
Not Steve,
hours.
right?
Steve, if we hadn't have had Steve or
Steve,
Mark with
Mark,
us
no,
all
what's
day, he's been calling him Steve and Mark all the
Johnny.
time.
Oh, you're John.
He's just like, he just says anything.
Yeah, just any old name.
Frank?
But
I'm
it's
interested
interesting
here,
'cause as soon as it comes out, look at the faults on it, look.
The amount of oil that
John,
builds
look
up.
at this. The exhaust bracket is completely snapped and they've not even noticed that. Because it's so far up under there, no one's seen that exhaust is slowly
So
falling
there's your
away.
fuel rails,
Yeah.
air intake. These are your side of bank one.
Yeah,
That's
look
the
at
oil,
that.
the oil
That's the fuel
scavenger
rail, isn't it?
cover.
Mine corrected that.
That's the AOS there, isn't
Yeah,
it?
John, look at this. Look at the fuel rail. Look how rotten the fuel rail is, and that's where they crack.
Corroded, yeah. So you're gonna get petrol.
Yeah.
So that would be something. So that would. What's that? The oil cooler there. What's that? The oil cooler.
The oil cooler, yeah.
So that's
Look
your
how
AOS
corroded
then,
that
isn't
is.
it? That's
That's
your
the
AOS.
AOS, yeah.
So that's the job that's a bit of a nightmare to get to.
Yeah. Look at all the crust and the debris that's trapped in there.
So that's a seal there? Is that a cover there that goes on the side?
Yeah, that's the valve. That's the cylinder head cover,
Yeah.
and then that's the cylinder head, and that has the bearings where the shell's built into it. That's why these are matched.
And then how many cams? How many cams are in here? 2 cams each
One
side.
inlet, one exhaust, both sides.
So you've got
There's a twin can each side.
each. So we've got 3 cylinders this side, each with 4 valves. So oil scavenger. I'm just interested in all these other
24
bits.
valve engine, 4 valves per cylinder.
What's all this
24
here?
valve engine.
What's all that?
That one is not too sure which one that is because it depends.
Oh,
on
that's just snaps. Look.
Oh god, yeah. That's just a
This
ground.
gearbox is quite a lot bulkier than a manual.
So that's
isn't
your crank position sensor, or your sensor for the flywheel.
Yeah.
That is. Can't remember
Well,
which
there's the drive shafts which you disconnected earlier on. So you can see it's quite interesting when it's all in bits.
that's quite the power steering line.
Yeah, very interesting.
It's quite a bulky gearbox as well.
Okay, guys. So look, Dan, where are we from yesterday? The exhaust is off.
So exhausts are off. Headers, one header come off. A couple of bolts snapped, and we had to cut one bolt. But we got the header off. We got the full exhaust off. Although the brackets were so rotten, we had to take them off at the brackets.
Yep. So what's the plan of attack on this block now?
So now we're going to take all this top end off, which is basically fueling and induction intake. But to save time, we're going to take it off as a one-er, all of it, and then we can break that down later. So why we've got Stuart here, our resident expert, we want to get to the pure metal. So we can start taking off AOS, oil cooler, heads, the torque converter, real bulky stuff, so we can try and determine what happened to this engine.
Brilliant.
And why it lost its coolant.
Okay.
And what else could be potentially wrong with it.
Yep. So intake next.
Yes.
Good. Okay, Dan, what's happened?
So basically, you know, we were saying about the corrosion on this fuel rail and the problems with
Hold
it.
on, what's that music?
Starts talking and it goes, right.
Hold on.
So,
Must have been something I ate.
is my mic on, John? Yeah. Right, so the problem is, as we were saying about this corrosion on the fuel rail and that, as we're starting to take the fuel rail off, they're breaking, the injectors are breaking, so this injector's stuck and it's cracking apart.
Yeah.
And if you look round Stuart's side, the fuel rail itself is
Oh, that injector's out though.
Yeah, but it's breaking. But look at this side.
It's all. Is that metal?
John,
that's
look at this
failed?
side. Look at this side. The corrosion is so bad that the metal has failed and the fuel is squirting out
You know
of there.
what? That was just inevitable,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
And the thing is, it's so brittle. These cars are old and everything's so brittle that now you're moving it, it's all falling apart and collapsing. So they're all going to have to be replaced. And this is what I was saying about that when in Rome. If you drop an engine out because you want to do the AOS or you want to do this, you start touching anything else, it's all going to just crumble apart. You've got to just do it all, really. You've got to go right through it. Obviously, we are with this engine, so it doesn't matter.
Damn
That
it,
is the
Jim.
plan.
It's life, Jim, but not as we know it.
Yes.
So all the intake bolts are along here. Some other bits Stuart's undoing. Some of these bolts are just corroded and just stripping the heads, but we'll get them off. We'll get them off. Bit of trickery.
you see again,
Or you can
they're
cut them
just-
off.
Well, I have got a. Let me put my drill bit in. We have got a cleaner. We have to open the door because there's fumes and the fuel. Before we all high as a kite. High as a kite.
Okay, so we're ready for the air intake to come off now. Getting these bolts out was problematic. They were corroded, and we needed to just loosen the AOS. Some of the bolts were horrible, but it should be ready now. Dan, do you want to just lift it up and take it
Hang
off?
on. I've got to do.
Or Stuart, do you want to do? You want to take her off?
Right, you want to remove it, yeah?
Yeah.
So we take that off from there, disconnect from there, and we should be free to go now. Wait, no? Yeah?
It's just a vacuum thing.
Okay.
There's a connection here. There you go.
Cool. All right, that's off. So we got that off in one. Is there any fluids in there?
That's all
Ronnie?
your air intake.
I'll just take
so
it
now
out
we've got
of
better
there.
access. Starter motor, oil cooler, some sort of power steering pump or aircon pump, alternator, and you can actually see all these pipe works now, which are going to be either electrical or air or oil, or
John,
electrical.
film down in there if you can. Look inside there. Look how coked up these things get. And this is like actually, that's quite clean. That's not that bad.
That's just air, though, isn't it?
But there is crap in there.
Yeah.
But look all that black around the edges.
Hold on.
It's not as bad as I have seen in the past.
What are those?
That's the top
Oh,
of
the
tappets.
valves,
Yeah,
yeah.
the valve, sorry.
Oh wow. Okay.
They don't look actually that bad in there if you have a look. I've seen worse.
Oh, no, they're fine.
Yeah, they're all right, aren't they?
But these are really clean.
Yeah. And generally there can be black in there, but obviously this is 90,000 miles ago rebuilt. So although it's 188,000 miles, it was all redone 90,000 miles ago. So it's like a lower mileage one, isn't it? And they're black.
Horrible. These are really good.
What's that?
That's the vacuum canister.
Yeah, that's the
Oh,
vacuum.
The old vacuum
Cool.
canister.
Right, so next job now will be to start stripping all the ancillaries off the front.
Okay, we're on to the ancillaries, guys. So
The
Dan,
need for tea.
have you got round to fixing that kettle yet?
No, I'm just taking this wiring loom out. As soon as I get this out. Right, so the loom's coming off now, John, as a one-up.
Cannot get a cup
So
of tea
we just
round
got up basic. It's just where they build it in and it's all tangled into
Yeah.
things.
So getting that loom off was.
Hang on.
That's feeding the coil packs.
Right,
and
there you go. So that's the loom, John.
Yes.
That's the whole loom for the engine. Their wiring harness is the correct
You're trying to think everything on there's got to be reconnected when you put
Yeah,
it all back together.
yeah, so you've got to remember where to put it all.
Some of those core connectors are broken, aren't they?
Yeah, there's a lot of connectors that are broken.
So would you replace that loom?
It's
get new
probably a
ones?
lot of money to replace that because it's a loom within a loom. But look, you've got broken ones, so there's going to be some rewiring. There's going to be some work. But again, you know, in this situation, this is a spare engine, so I've got two engines. You have two looms. You make the best of one. You get the best bits of each two to make
Maybe
one.
Design 911 can find you another loom.
Design 911 certainly probably can. I think there's a lot of parts on these that they can do, so that would be really good if they can.
Yeah.
Right, so, we've got fluid in here as well.
As it should be.
No.
Power steering.
There you go, there's a problem.
Aircon.
I don't know what
alternators
that
off.
was,
So we're
but
getting
something
to the
just
top of
leaked
the
out.
engine here, guys.
Might have
Yes,
just
you're
been
starting to actually be able to see the block a bit clearer now.
I think that might have just been a bit of fuel, Stuart. Dun, 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 dun. Are you playing a tune or undoing a bolt? Hey, 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 chicka chat, chicka chat, chicka chat. John wants to be filmed doing some work. He's doing. Can I see your hands, John?
Don't see them.
Can I see? Oh wow! Yesterday, John's hands were brand new.
No, they weren't.
And everyone
No,
else's
they weren't.
hands.
Don't lie. Don't lie.
All John did yesterday is show us how to eat 16 Jaffa cakes, a whole pack of Marylands, 6 packs of knickknacks. Where have
You
you
didn't
eat?
say that when I was carrying that gearbox around the back, did you?
No, you did carry that. I'll give you that. It's quite nice just to film today and not be doing something. John's work. He started working because he knew you was coming.
He's done nothing all day. We can't even get a cup of tea out of him.
Can't imagine.
This is John's second bolt he's done today. Second bolt he's done this weekend.
I'm surprised you get any work done.
Team effort, eh?
So guys, just for anyone with a torque converter box, once you've got all of the ancillaries off the top, the starter motor, you've got Allen keys in there, haven't you, Dan?
Yeah, so to take the torque converter off, so if you come around this side, we were like, how the hell do you take it off? Because it's just this weird spigot point, and we were told by Scotty at Barnsport, you take the starter motor off, you turn the engine over until you get to these bolts here, which are Allen key bolts.
Yeah.
And you unbolt
6
that
mil Allen
from
key.
the back, and then pull it off from the front.
Yeah. And then you just turn the crank to get to the
next
to get to the next one, which is
Yeah.
kind of quite cool. How the hell would you have known that?
Well, I wouldn't. I asked Scotty at Barnsport, and he said, we would have never guessed that, would we? Unless someone told her. Because you can't see them there, they are. You're just coming round now.
Okay,
Bit more,
brilliant.
another half turn.
Okay, well, hold on. Okay.
Cool.
Hold on. I haven't turned it yet. Right, there we go.
There.
On. Okay. Right, so the engine is all stripped down now. Just one point of note, the air oil separator here that's clamped on here.
So this sits basically on there like that.
Yeah.
And the clamps, look, if you take the clamp off,
It's
this is
snapped.
called the bellow. The bottom of it was like a rubber joint, and the clamp had rotted through, crushing that bellow and
no
not
good seal.
sealing it,
Yeah.
not a seal. So the oil has leaked, vaporised and leaked in this area. So all of this oil stainage
Yeah.
is from this problem.
Yeah.
So it hadn't crashed and burned. It hadn't fully failed. There's no real intermix evidence,
Which is important.
which is important. We were
Because it
thinking
means it's not an AOS failure as
it's
such,
not
is
an
it?
AOS failure,
But that was on its way out.
It was on its way out, and of course it was spraying oil in this area. So this was inevitably going to eventually just break down.
Yes.
But it doesn't seem to be the answer to where the coolant went.
No, so we've still got to get this block split fully to find that answer to that.
Yeah, well,
because
the
it
next
could
job-
still be a cracked cylinder.
Cracked cylinder head, yeah. We're going to take the oil cooler off and the water pump off, which will give us any signs of intermix as well.
I don't think we've seen that though.
I don't
We'd have
know.
seen that in the oil and the
So
coolant.
I think realistically, it's
It doesn't
going
look like we've got intermix though,
We
does it?
could have a coolant pipe leak. This car, don't forget, I never filled it back up with coolant to literally physically see if I could see where
But
it
you
was
were
leaking
losing
from.
coolant when you ran it.
No, it never had any coolant in it when I bought it, and I've only ever
So it
run
could
it
just
for
be
a minute.
it could just be a multitude of minor issues.
Yes. Leading to
but there
lots
could
of
be a
problems.
cracked cylinder. A
Yeah,
hairline
that you're only
cracked.
going to find out when you send the heads off for testing.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
the bottom line is this AOS was failing.
Yeah. Which is common, isn't it? I
And
had that
it would have
done.
eventually just poured out oil and just gone bang, and there would have been smoke everywhere.
Yeah.
And that would have been the end of that.
That's how DTC runs.
Yeah.
Rolling. So Stuart, what's going on here?
So what we're going to do now is we're going to take these cam cover caps off, and we'll show you in a second. What we do, this exposes the end of the cams so we can see the timing. So if you're doing the timing, you can see the position of your timing. But what we're going to do is when we take the cylinder head covers off, we've got to make sure that the actual cams don't come loose and spring out. So we're going to use a tool that holds these in place. So we can see these half moons here. That's used for timing later down the line.
Yep.
But you see these indentations. What we're going to do is over this side of the engine, where we've already got one fitted, we'll
Yes.
show you the tool and how that fits. So on this side, exactly the same. So remember, both sides of the engines are a mirror of each other. We've got this tool braced in, and inside this, there's a bolt that screws in, holds the cams in place. So when we take this cover off, the cams won't spring off and cause any more damage to the chains.
Perfect.
You can see it coming slowly. Oh, you don't hold that again like that to let all that drip out. Oh, there you go. You got it there. Just hold it there.
It's probably
that
the
position.
spark plug tubes holding it, to be fair. 'Cause they look,
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
It's coming, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great.
Now it's something's holding it
Yeah,
there.
just give it some weight back in there. You go, go, go.
Go on, isn't she? Ta-da! Yeah, was this the tube sticking? Oh, I see. So there's that thing. So that's got a feedback through that hole
That's it.
because
And
it
that's what
comes
was
from the
tight as
inside.
well. That was tight in the hole, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Leave that hanging over there. Just drips in there.
So air in that way, and then air out that way to the exhaust.
Yeah, they look fine.
Look good to you, yeah?
Yeah, they
looks
look
good. That chain looks in good condition as well.
They look better than mine.
That chain looks mint.
What about the chain guide? You can't.
You can't
Your
tell
chain.
two seconds
Yeah, there is somewhere on the chain.
So you got
guide.
two different chains
Variant
here.
cam pads.
Yeah.
Like these
Oh,
do
yes.
wear. The bottom one will be much worse
Yeah.
than the top one. The guides are running in that way, so the
Yeah,
tension
you
is
can't
here.
see it until you get over the top.
Yeah.
Generally speaking.
So is that's driven from the IMS
So that chain there goes back down to there.
to the IMS there.
Yep.
That's driven by the crank at the other end, is it?
With the crank,
I'll
yes.
tell you what I'll
No,
do.
So the chain, there's a chain at the back between here and here.
Oh, okay.
So that links the IMS,
Yeah.
and then that's what links.
So that side of the engine's driven direct from the crank with the chain this end.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what.
Then that uses the intermediary shaft to go to that one
Correct.
to turn that set of cams.
Full of it, it's just where it's sitting on the surface.
Yeah, if you just get, I just like it off.
Damn, I'm good. So it looks okay in there.
So what
But
we're gonna do
we
now-
weren't expecting
Do the
any
same on the
problem
outside.
in there though, were we?
No, there'll
No.
probably be when we take this off.
No, 'cause
Okay.
if you had a problem in here, this is when you'll get. We're taking the crank camshafts out now. As a one-piece unit, we're going to go straight over there and put it in its place where it's going to be. Graham's trying to balance the block because we're trying to stop all the valves from falling all out because they've all got to go back in the same place. The followers, sorry. Right, there you go, like that. Am I away, Graham?
Yep.
Yes, there you go. So I'm away. So that's all coming out in one piece, and they all stay in their same positions because they must all go back exactly in each position.
What do you mean position?
So that follower has to go back in that hole. That follower goes back in that hole. That one, yeah. If you mix any of those up, the wear on those matches the wear on these.
Oh, so you mean the valve pushers?
Yes, the
They
follower.
have to stay the same, yeah.
But the cam, that
But is
wear,
there any reason to take those out?
that comes off with the head now, doesn't it?
No, we're going to take is the
We're
bearing.
gonna
We're going to take the tappet carrier out.
And then all the tappets will
which is
stay
this
in the
cradle,
carrier.
yeah, and we need to keep these. So we can undo these bolts carefully and then just take the whole lot. But what I do is I take them out and just place them in the right space and then put them back in.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, because making a tune there for you, John. This is the frame that holds the followers.
It's known as the carrier frame.
There you go. So now you can see all the valve and the valve springs. And there's your plugs, and there's your valve springs, and these are your followers.
It's all pretty good condition in there.
It's
though,
still
isn't it?
very good condition in there, really nice.
This isn't a place that usually goes wrong though.
But then this is the stuff that's all pretty reliable on them. It doesn't really break. You can get valve spring problems. But again, we haven't seen many problems with them. But the cams are in fantastic condition, considering although this was rebuilt 90,000 miles ago. The cams weren't changed, so the cams done 180,000 miles and they're in fantastic condition. The followers, that frame, all of this is done 180,000 miles and the chains were replaced, so they've only done 90. These famous free taps.
Okay, guys. So this is the cylinder head coming off.
She's ready to come. She comes off
Be
easy.
on the dowels. Yeah, there's gonna be loads of stuff that comes out of stuff.
Danny's getting a bit excited.
Ready? Keep pulling. That's it.
Look at that drip.
There you go.
Look, that's nice even burn. A bit bad burn there, but the burn there is all really good, isn't it?
Yeah. And then if you
Is that normal for that to be all gunked up?
Yeah, that's corrosion on the outside. So there's the gasket coming off.
That's good. Okay.
Oh no. Yeah,
Don't
see,
look
mine-
bad.
That's a lot better than mine.
Yeah. So this side cylinder head.
You're right, I've got a hand.
Yeah, this side cylinder head.
Let's have a look at that.
And the gasket looks good.
Can you see that?
I mean, you wouldn't know if this is cracked until you pressure test it, but you would say that the gasket would give you an indication if the gasket was breaking up
Because the
anywhere.
cracks usually appear around here.
Yeah,
But until you get it clean.
until pressure tested and all the rest of it.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's just gank. That don't look too bad.
Is it? But is this bank 2? Is it?
Bank one.
Bank 1. Hold on, I'll get my orientation round here. So that's the back of the engine. That's the forward-facing part there.
The invoice.
Cylinders Well, they're not cracked, are they?
Well, look, you can see that. So this is where we talk about bore score. See that very slight scoring. So which is the cylinder that they have lined? It might not be on this side, eh? It's the other bank. You see these slight marks? That's very, very slight bore scoring, but it's so slight.
No, we don't know because it doesn't say.
Them bores generally, again, look very good, don't they? I mean, that has got some slight scoring, but it's minute on that edge there, you see it? But let's clean it and see.
A bit of ball score there. Not a lot though.
Yeah, but look, when you wipe the grit out, that is minimal, isn't it? That's not bad. It is bore scored, but it's not. But then that's these ones. Let's look at all 6 cylinders. So what number cylinders is that?
That's 321.
321. So these are the ones that are less likely to be bad anyway. It's that side that's more likely to be
But it
bad.
doesn't say on the invoice which ones.
No, which ones they've lined, but I don't think none of they look all.
So they've been
factory.
relined.
No, one has been relined.
cylinder.
So
One
it could
cylinder.
be that one, but you'd see it from the top, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Would
Oh,
you?
it'd be cylinder 6 though, wouldn't it?
I think, yeah, it's cylinder 6. It was mentioned, so we'll take that head off and we'll see.
So we need the other side off. Okay.
Right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, guys, so the head is off this side. Now, I know I was, the last video, I was just about to take the rocker cover off to expose all the cams. I had to concentrate and focus because I didn't want any of the followers falling out, because if you mix the followers up and get them in the wrong positions, you're in a world of pain. So I had to cut focus and I couldn't concentrate on filming. So the followers and the Kate there, what do you call it, the cradle for cylinder bank 1 and bank 2 have all been taken off, and I have put them all together so that they are all in the position they was in the engine. So I've done that both sides, and they were in immaculate condition, really good condition. John's got all the footage for the YouTube, so I left John to do the filming while me and Stuart carried on to two-man job, kind of holding everything in position.
They're all
So
out
they
now, they're all
off,
loose, yeah.
and that is bank 1
Yeah.
cylinder head.
All the way, yeah.
Not all the way, just that's enough.
Yeah.
Now, these are all in fantastic condition. So I'm not putting any pressure, I'm just trying to keep wiggling and vibrating. You do some taps.
It's going slowly, slowly, slowly.
It's getting looser. It feels
Slowly,
looser to
slowly,
me.
slowly. Keep going. Yeah.
It's getting looser. The crowbar's dropping.
That's free.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. Can you get the other end up, Byron?
That end, oh, that's a bit nasty.
That's it. Slowly, there we go. Right. You got that?
Easy does it. Easy does it.
There she blows.
She blows.
Dan, we finished. What's going on?
So we got now down to the block, so we can see the cylinders and we can see the top of the pistons, and we do have a nasty gouge, and ironically in bank 1.
Yep.
So we had that light scoring, which wasn't so bad, but we've got one here, and this one's really nasty, and it's top and bottom, like it's the piston ring problem as opposed to ball scoring.
Yep.
If we come round to the other side, that's the Hartec lined one that was repaired before, and they're the originals. These are in great condition. This is in great condition. So it's this side of the block that never had any machine work in the past that has, instead of ball, because ball scoring is normally lots and lots and lots of little lines.
Yeah.
These are distinctive gouges, and they are opposite each other, like top and bottom. So the only thing we can
oval.
think is the piston ring is failing or failed potentially on these two cylinders. So piston ring failure. So what that now, the predicament puts me in is, I was going to see if this block was good, I could do a mini build from home on this block, put this into my car, get a year or two out of it on track, while my original engine is slowly over a couple of years being built into a monster. The answer is probably not, because this block now needs machine work, really. If you want to be safe, that's too big a gouge to take a chance.
Yeah, you wouldn't leave it when you're this
Get this
step
far.
down.
No, that's right. So the odds are that this block needs machine work. Now, why would you bother doing some machine work on that if you're going to eventually do machine work anyway to a bigger bore and more power engine? So the answer is, what do you do with this engine now? You either sell it all off in pieces or use this to start building the big one.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you guys for watching. So we've achieved our objective. We've got the engine out, we've stripped it down, and we've got some dilemmas. And huge thank you as well to Pete. No, Mark.
No, Stuart. No, Paul,
Simon.
No, Fred. No, John. No, Steve.
He's been getting his name wrong.
His name
every
is
day.
Stuart, but he's been mostly called. You will be mostly called Steve.
You've been brilliant. Been brilliant. Okay,
Thanks,
signing
Paul.
out. Bye now.